Hey there, Dale.
Hey, how you doing this morning?
I cannot complain. I had a lovely Memorial Day. How about yours?
Yes, nice little barbecue with the family, and of course, thinking of all the wonderful things our veterans have done for this country.
Yep, absolutely. The fact that we can celebrate a day such as this is for the sacrifice that they have made. So thank you to those of you who did the sacrifice, the ultimate sacrifice, and those of you who share the burden of that sacrifice.
Very much.
Thank you.
Very much.
Yeah. Dale, mortgage-backed securities. This graph is looking a little funny, and for some reason, it's in the downward part. What's going on?
Well, instability in the market. It seems like every time I turn on the news, something new is going on. Now we having 50% tariffs in Europe, June 1st, I believe it is.
That was the news over the weekend. Again, instability. You just never know what's going to happen. The other half of it, the other half is the European Union freaked out a little bit because they're like, oh my gosh, in a few days we're going to have 50% tariffs. Let's negotiate. So now the tariffs are paused until July 9th so that negotiations can take place. Hopefully those negotiations yield some fruit. But goodness gracious, the volatility, the uncertainty is why we're seeing rates stay exactly down here. And ultimately, we don't really know what's going to happen next.
Right. And remember, on this chart, red is bad, green is good. Right? Down is bad, up is good. And we've got a little upward green trend happening again. So
Right. Today's a decent day because most of that tariff stuff was solved over the weekend. And we did have some really good numbers on inflation. We're going to talk about that in a second. But the average 30-year fixed rate mortgage is 6.86% right now with 20% down and buy downs. But the gap between the 15 and the 30 did close a little bit. Look at that sharp increase from the previous week. It's basically signaling the market is not quite certain where it's going to go. Let's close up the margin. Let's assume less risk and offer higher interest rates. That's what happened. But here's where the market is at. Dale, Fannie Mae just announced a projection. They're lowering their projection of the interest rate for the end of 2025 from 6.2 down to 6.1, maybe even 5.8% at the end of 2026. What do you reckon of that?
Well, couple thoughts here, right? The end of 2026 is a year and a half away. Okay. Not really a stellar move there, but I'm not really positive where Fannie Mae's getting this projection, especially when we're talking 2 rate cuts left for the year at a quarter each. So either Fannie Mae's thinking that maybe we're going to get some more stability in the market and therefore some better rates. That's really the only thing I can come up with, because 2 rate cuts of a quarter apiece, all the way to 5.8 a year and a half from now, the numbers aren't computing. There's something going on behind the curtain that we're just simply not aware of and not seeing.
Right. And you mentioned those 2 rate cuts. You mentioned to me earlier, we are in the 4th year of this bad rate environment. But for every single one of those years, I do recall all the experts saying, next year we will be down. Next year we will be down. So we're kind of a little tired of the boy who cried wolf situation. We'll see it when we see it. But let's take a look at some factors that might actually provide us that forward direction. The home price index, month over month, we actually did see a decrease in home values of 0.3%. Not a huge amount, but don't take that and think home prices are falling, the world is ending. That's just not the case. That was for March. We still have yet to see April, May, and coming June data. But year over year, we are up 3.4%, meaning your $500,000 house that you purchased last year or neglected to purchase is now worth $517,000.
Yeah. Let's put in perspective the down 0.3%. Okay. That means a $500,000 house down to about 498. It's really peanuts. So keeping things in perspective, of course, year over year, great numbers. The average is 3 to 4% anyway. I think we're doing good. And as you know, buy a house now, refinance later.
Right. I mean, just knowing that you wait a year, you cost yourself $17,000 on the house that you bought, or you made $17,000 in 1 year just because you bought the house, and you can still refinance in the future. That's basically what we're getting at. But the biggest thing is PCE inflation report. PCE, Personal Consumption Expenditures. This is the Fed's favorite measure of inflation. It strips away all the hokey pokey and it gets down to the bare bones. For April, the month over month figure, Dale, was 0.21%.
Which is basically no inflation, right?
It's pretty darn close.
That's really what it means. Year over year, we still have some, but it is starting to come down. And as we've said many times, high inflation, high interest rates. They just go hand in hand.
Right. So if the Federal Reserve were to take a little bit more stock in the month over month figures and use that to base their decision, there's no reason they should be not cutting rates. Like, we are in a position where inflation is handled and we are good to go. However, they do take a lot of stock in the year over year figure, and because we're at 2.6, which was revised downwards, that 0.21 replaced, that year over year figure is still a little bit higher than where they want it to be, hence why they haven't made any cuts currently.
But we're keeping fingers and toes crossed that they do.
Absolutely. And my eyeballs, because it is dizzying. All right. Well, thank you, Dale. We appreciate it, as always.
You bet. Have a great day.
You too. Bye.
Bye now.